Good morning. I'm Amy Shapiro, journalist at CTech, and we're here today in Tel Aviv for the Calcalist AI conference. I'm joined by Joe Gamse, the COO at Jewish Climate Trust.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, to start off with, can you tell us a bit about JCT and
Sure.
what the mission is?
So the Jewish Climate Trust is a new philanthropic organization. The mission is to maximize the Jewish people's positive climate impact. So that means the state of Israel, the diaspora communities, especially in North America. How can the philanthropic world best maximize the difference that both of those groups are making on climate? Both mitigation, reducing emissions, and adaptation and resiliency, dealing with the climate crises we're already seeing everywhere around the world.
Amazing. So today, obviously, we're here to talk about the AI revolution. And as a climate kind of geared organization, I suppose one of the things I'm interested in is what you're wrestling with when it comes to this AI revolution and its impact on the environment.
For sure. I think AI, more than almost any other technology, huge challenges, huge opportunities, and a lot of unknowns. So firstly, on the opportunity side, we know that there's scope for AI to help improve energy efficiency, to change the way that grids work, to discover new materials that could be used in agrivoltaic or photovoltaic materials for solar panels and all sorts of other innovations. But there is a huge concern over the amount of energy that AI is using now and the amount that it might use in the future. So there have been a few reports actually published this year, the MIT Technology Review from a few months ago and the International Energy Agency also, who basically say, we know that these models can use a huge amount of energy. We don't know that much more than that. Because the big tech companies that are building these models are keeping a lot of that information closed and proprietary. So they've run experiments on open source models to try and approximate the energy usage that a query to ChatGPT or generating an image through Midjourney or something might have. And they've come up with estimates. But the big variables, the number of parameters in the model and where the data centers actually are and where they're drawing energy from, are things that we still don't know. So we know enough to be concerned. We know enough to know that there's going to be a policy challenge, an infrastructure challenge for AI data usage and energy usage, but we don't yet know enough to be able to project that accurately. And so I think that comes downstream for an organization like us where we're focused on climate. We want to know how much of a climate impact our AI usage might have, but we don't, right? We don't see when we're sending queries to ChatGPT or to Gemini or to any others what the carbon footprint might be, and we have to infer that. So we know, for example, that a video will take a huge amount more of energy and processing power than a text response or an image response, but we don't know exactly how that's going to develop.
Right.
And so I think what we're wrestling with as an organization is a microcosm of what's going on in the general scene now, which is that everyone's trying to understand the implications of this for energy and obviously for climate, and we don't have enough information to really to be able to project.
As a philanthropic fund, you work with a lot of NGOs. As a generalization, how are NGOs looking at AI and working with AI?
I think that there's sometimes a lag in the NGO world to adopt new technologies because you need to sort of be front-footed and innovative, and often they're very focused on the program side and don't always have the bandwidth to understand how best to use these new emerging technologies. One of the things that we want to do as an organization and what we want to bring to the field is figure out for ourselves the best way to use AI internally in a responsible way, in a climate-informed way, hopefully, and then to be able to share those best practices with others in the field. So there's a huge amount that AI could do. A lot of nonprofits really struggle with the amount of text that they have to analyze and generate in order to apply for grants, to understand the latest policy updates. There are all sorts of things that AI could help with. And so our focus right now as an organization is to figure out our best practices first, and then open out a conversation with the rest of the field to try and help them too.
Amazing. So I suppose my final question to pick your brain a bit is here in the context of like the Israeli high-tech sector, what your kind of final thoughts are on doing AI responsibly.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. AI, I think a little bit like social media and the internet before, has had an amazing breakout period, huge uptake, huge excitement about what the implications could be. And I think that, like the internet and like social media, we're at an inflection point now where we're starting to understand the nuances, the dangers, the potential complexities. And I think there's a challenge, number one, to develop AI responsibly and to have in mind all of those external issues, not just the bottom line, but copyright, right?
Yeah.
Climate, the dangers of AI chatbots telling people what to do and befriending people instead of them being outside in the real world. All of these things are massive challenges. And I think that also lights the way for where people can be innovative and really lead the market. Because we're now, I think, moving into a second stage where the AI innovations aren't just how good is your model, how many parameters can it crunch, but are you developing an application that's energy efficient and that's socially responsible?
Amazing. Well, it's definitely an important conversation and one that's only going to get more important. Joe, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you.